Blake Lively's legal team thought they had the winning move. They thought releasing Justin Baldoni's private group chat would prove him guilty, seal the narrative, and crush his reputation once and for all. But what actually happened? Her so-called smoking gun completely backfired. Instead of exposing Justin, it exposed her. What these messages really show isn't a director bragging about bad behavior. They show a man begging his closest friends for prayers and protection just to survive working with Blake Lively. And when you read the words for yourself, it becomes clear. Blake didn't look like the victim, she looked like the villain. January 2024. The set of It Ends With Us is already infamous behind the scenes. COVID delays, creative battles, safety complaints, chaos everywhere. And in the middle of it all, Justin Baldoni does something deeply human. He starts a group chat with people he trusts the most. Not lawyers, not PR reps, not agents, his real inner circle. The names matter here. Rainn Wilson, Andy Grammer, Travis Van Winkle, Justin's father. A mix of actors, musicians, family, and old friends. This isn't a team designed to spin a story. It's a team designed to keep him standing. The chat is even titled Prayers and Support. That name alone tells you everything. When your director is titling his group chat Prayers and Support before going into work, you don't have a creative difference. You have a hostage situation. Here's what Justin wrote on January 2nd, 2024. Flying back to New Jersey. Friday is day 1 of 17. I haven't seen Blake in person since the safety letter. She used the claim to gain power over the production. I'm trying to find balance between giving her most of what she wants and holding on to some of my vision. Starting Friday, I'll be acting and working with someone who will use anything against me. It's scary, but I know I have protection. I'll need emotional and spiritual support. Now stop and think about those words. This is not the tone of a man crowing about harassment. This isn't some caught red-handed moment. It's the voice of someone walking back into a battlefield, aware that the person across from him isn't just a co-star. She's a threat. He flat out says Blake used the claim to gain power. Not to resolve a conflict, not to keep things safe, to gain power. He felt like the production itself was being held hostage. His own words, captaining a ship while it's being held hostage. Tell me how this makes Blake look sympathetic. It doesn't. It makes her look manipulative. It makes her look like she weaponized accusations not for justice, but for control. Now fast forward to January 4th. This is the day of the infamous New York penthouse meeting with Blake and Rainn Reynolds. The tension is at an absolute peak, and Justin sends this to the group. First time seeing her in person since her safety allegations. Would appreciate any prayers for protection and strength. Read that again slowly. He is asking his friends for protection before sitting in a room with Blake Lively. He's not plotting legal defense. He's not crafting a PR stunt. He's asking for prayers like a soldier about to go into battle. Does that sound like a guilty man? Or does it sound like a man being dragged into a meeting where he knows he'll be blindsided? Here's the key detail that blows Blake's entire strategy apart. These weren't public statements. They weren't crafted to get sympathy or manipulate a jury. They were private texts. They were written in the moment to people who have no stake in the trial. And that's what makes them so powerful. Because private words show truth. And the truth here is clear. Justin Baldoni was scared to be in a room with Blake Lively. That's not the profile of a predator. That's the profile of someone surviving a co-star who weaponized every ounce of power she had. If anything, these texts don't damage Justin. They damage Blake. Because when you strip away the PR gloss, what's left? A star actress making her director so nervous, he needed spiritual support just to get through a meeting. Think about the optics. Justin is privately asking for calm. Blake is storming into rooms with her husband at her side, dropping lists of demands and controlling every inch of the production. Who looks like the aggressor in that dynamic? And here's the most ironic part. Blake is the one who chose to release these texts. This wasn't a leak from Justin's camp. This wasn't his legal team trying to drum up sympathy. This was Blake's evidence. Her lawyers thought this would hurt him. But it doesn't show guilt. It shows vulnerability. It shows fear. And it shows Blake as the kind of person people literally pray to be protected from. If this is her best shot at proving her case, then she just shot herself in the foot. Look again at Justin's language. She used the claim to gain power over the production. That's the whole story. It wasn't about safety. It wasn't about harassment. It was about control. And if you've ever worked with someone like that, you know exactly what he means. Every little thing becomes ammunition. Every interaction becomes a power play. You're constantly on edge, wondering what will be twisted next. Justin wasn't just trying to direct a movie, he was trying to survive a chess match against someone who already decided she was queen. Blake wanted this chat to show Justin admitting something awful, but what it actually shows is her turning a film into a battlefield. The group chat makes her look less like a victim and more like a tyrant. Justin's words paint her as manipulative, calculating, and relentless. And every supportive reply from his friends, every "we're praying for you," every "stay strong," only highlights how miserable she made his life. It doesn't prove his guilt, it proves her toxicity. Blake has spent years cultivating an image of poise and power, but these messages chip away at that. Because when the curtain gets pulled back, the story isn't of a woman bravely standing up for herself. It's of a woman using accusations as leverage to dominate an entire production. Her own evidence has made her look less like a survivor and more like the problem everyone else needed protection from. At the end of the day, these texts don't prove harassment, they don't prove misconduct, they don't even prove hostility from Justin. What they do prove is that he felt trapped, cornered, and desperate for strength just to keep the film alive. And they prove that Blake Lively was the source of that desperation. If that's the narrative her team thought would help her, then it's the biggest legal self-own of the year. Blake Lively's legal team opened the door to Justin's private thoughts, and instead of revealing a monster, they revealed a man pleading for help. They revealed someone terrified of the woman he had to work beside. They revealed that Blake Lively was not the victim she wanted the world to see. She was the villain in her own production, and that's why this matters. Because sometimes, the most damaging evidence isn't what your opponent digs up, it's what you hand them yourself. If you want to see more of Blake's self-sabotage in real time, hit that subscribe button, because apparently she's going to keep handing us free content every time she files a motion.